Okay. Hi, this is Ed Rising, and welcome back to Ed's Pop-O-Matic Podcast, a retro pop culture podcast where everything retro beats the new if you keep it in your heart. Today, this is the holiday episode. We will be talking about the Partridge Family Christmas Card. And today we have special guests. We have Cheri-lyn Corwin, Gail Bajkowski, and Daniel Daniel Cos. I gotta do this with at least one person, and whenever I do these shows,
I'm a photographer. I can call much worse.
So trust me.
Coston, yeah.
Daniel Coston. I apologize. It must be just my thing, I suppose. I can put that down as my thing instead of what I do.
Well, it's that mulligan. You got it out of the way, so you're good now for the whole.
So, how's everybody doing tonight? Everybody feeling festive?
Yeah.
All right, so welcome to the show. Tonight we're going to talk about the 1971 release of the Partridge Family Christmas Card, which featured one original song, really, and the rest of it was some classic Christmas covers, and we'll talk about the Partridge Family Christmas episode as well. That was titled "Don't Bring Your Guns to Town, Santa." And we can talk about that a bit, and we'll see how else it goes, see what other people want to chat about. And so why don't we kind of get started? The Christmas Card album is really famous in my family. We can't decorate the Christmas tree without the Partridge Family Christmas Card on. I mean, do you guys play this as part of your Christmas music when you're doing your home decorations and stuff?
You know, this is one album, oddly enough, by the Partridge Family that I don't have. I never got it when I was a kid, and it was unusual to me because all the albums I got from my parents I got as Christmas gifts. So I always got the releases that came out in the fall. So I got the debut album, Sound Magazine, and Notebook. And I just think it's funny. They must have already done their shopping by the time this came out, because I didn't get the Christmas album for Christmas. So, one I don't have, but I can enjoy it on Spotify nowadays. So that's
absolutely. Cheri, what about you?
I always went to our local department store the day all the albums were released, and so I got them right off the counter, as soon as they went up to put up on the shelves. So I kept watching all the Tiger Beats and everything. Release date.
Yeah, that's cool. I think I got this as a Christmas present, 1971, for my 11th birthday. My sister had given me a couple of albums, a couple of Bobby Sherman albums on the Partridge Family Christmas Card. So it's a good memory. So the leadoff track is another wonderful composition by Tony Romeo, "My Christmas Card to You." Brilliant lyric by Tony, and a gorgeous vocal from David Cassidy as the lead, and just have some really, really good feeling about the way that this was recorded and what it's been to me all these years, having had this record. And really, I consider it to be a Christmas classic, even though it doesn't get as much airplay as I'd like it to be around Christmas time, whether it be the Muzak or it might be in radio plays Christmas stuff from Halloween on upwards. This one doesn't come in quite as often as I'd like it to, but I think it's a Christmas classic. Daniel, what do you think?
Obviously, great song, and I will agree with you. This one doesn't get enough airplay at Christmas. I actually picked up this record at a thrift store when I was growing up. I had a bunch of other Christmas records that my parents got, but this wasn't one of them. But no, it's a good song. And it's also interesting what has made it into the rotation in terms of what's getting played now. You hear the Carpenters' Christmas album. I think it's because it wasn't they made an album, released, had several songs that could be pulled from it. Much as this is a good album, I really like the covers they did for this record. I do wonder if, because they did so many covers that just didn't translate into modern, satellite or whatever radio. But Yeah,
Yeah.
good song, and definitely something that I'm sure was a Christmas stocking stuffer for a few people in 1974.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Gail?
Yeah, I really like that there's an original Christmas song on here. Everybody covers the standards, which is great because each artist kind of puts their own spin on it, which is a lot of fun. But
Mhm.
to have an original song like this is kind of something new. And as you have both said, I think it would be really nice if it was in rotation more this time of year because it definitely holds up really well.
And Cheri?
Yeah, I'm remember back, in my teens, growing up and watching the Partridge Family on TV. There was a radio station that did include it, as well as the Elton John and the Carpenters Christmas thing, originals. So I remember hearing it on the radio. So
Yeah, yeah. Back in the day, you'd hear it on the radio. I know WABC used to play it back when I was a kid. They do a lot of covers, a lot of the classic covers, and some of the arrangements were really interesting that they did on here. But we go to White Christmas by Irving Berlin, and of course, probably the Bing Crosby is the most well-known version of White Christmas. But I think David and crew did a beautiful job on this too. It's a little bit more upbeat, and and I think David's voice by this point had come full. I mean, certainly you hear it on Sound Magazine, and certainly by this album, his voice is really full. Cheryl, any thoughts on that?
well, it came out about the same time as this Cherish single. So, you could, I mean, David's voice on Cherish and was about the same as the Christmas card and all the boop boops, that kind of made it into like a 50s type of song, like Christmas.
Yeah, so
Like,
has a little bit of doo-wop element to it, yeah.
Yeah.
Although my favorite doo-wop version is the Platters version. I love that.
The Platters or the Drifters? I think it was the Drifters.
The Drifters,
Yes.
right.
Yeah, I actually got to know Bill Pinkney, the original bass singer, later
Did
on.
you?
He was a hoot. He was a good guy.
So I enjoy that. Santa Claus is Coming to Town is a passable version. It's decent. It's I don't think it's the highlight of the album, but it was pretty good. They did a good job on that one. Then they do Blue Christmas. There's two songs on this album that I consider to be funeral dirges.
Snowman, right?
Oh yeah, good old Frosty the Snowman is the real dirge. Any thoughts on that, Gail?
On dirges or on Blue Christmas?
Oh well, hey, either one, whatever you like. It's
yeah, Blue Christmas. That's a favorite. I think Elvis, of course, did the definitive version. Right? Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's again, you're taking a chance if you're going to try to cover that one. But I think David does a marvelous job, and that really exhibits his range as a vocal artist.
And you get a love song out of the album too, yeah, which is what you would want out of the Partridge Family. You want David to sing a love song, and so that's essentially what that is,
And it's David singing to the girls again. He tended
Oh
to
yeah. I
The
love the
thing
version of
about the
Jingle
Elvis
Bells.
version is the Elvis version that everybody knows now. Elvis really did not like that arrangement. And I actually was told by Millie Kirkham, the lady who was the high harmony singer on that song, that he just said, go over the top and they'll never release this. And we've been listening to it ever since. So,
right.
Yep.
Now, I've read up on Elvis's Christmas recordings and just listening to various ones over the years. I had read somewhere that he did one recording session where he recorded all of the Christmas songs. Now, are you familiar? Are you an aficionado enough to understand where Elvis may have recorded those songs?
What is this? You can see it. Elvis sings "The World of Christmas."
Yeah.
That one.
Okay.
That one I need to look up. I wouldn't be surprised.
Because his voice seems to have matured in some of the songs, like "A Wonderful World of Christmas" and and things like that. It sounds like you might have done, maybe you did 2 sessions. You did something in the early 60s and you did another session in the 70s, because
Yes.
it
71.
sounds like that to me.
Yeah, there was more than one session. I think there was another one in the late 60s and maybe another early 70s. There was more than one session, but the Blue Christmas was from, I believe, 57, 58, right before he went into the Army.
And then he did a version of Blue Christmas at his comeback special in 1968, which is blew everybody away. I mean, that was totally off the cuff, you know.
Yeah, which apparently was the one concession he made to Colonel Parker, because Colonel Parker did not want that to be a comeback special. He wanted a Christmas special.
Right,
And
right.
Elvis is okay. Here's your Christmas song.
I love
And,
those movie.
What's that?
I love those Christmas special scenes in the Elvis movie with Austin Butler.
Absolutely. That was unbelievable. I mean, here they have this Colonel is like out of his mind. It has to be a Christmas movie. It has to be ho 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 and all that kind of stuff. And the producer, was it Burnett?
Steve Binder.
Steve Binder that did and he's like trying to pacify the Colonel left and right, and Elvis is like, you know, they're making their great special. It was absolutely hysterical. It was so well done, and Austin Butler portrayed Elvis so well, particularly during that section of the movie. Yeah, really enjoyed that. The version of the Partridge Family of Jingle Bells, I think, is one of the best versions of that particular song. I'm biased. I can't help myself, you know. I love that version of the song. It is great. I just like the arrangement. You know, jingle bells, woo, jingle bells, woo.
And then the beautiful drum solo right there in the middle.
So who was responsible primarily for the arrangements on this one? That was still Wes Farrell?
It was Wes Farrell.
I would imagine that Farrell did the arrangements on that particular song. And I imagine Mike Melvin also did a lot of the vocal arrangements.
Okay, yeah. And then, of course, it's the Baylor brothers and Jackie Ward, right? The
right.
vocalist. Yeah.
That's right. Let's give everybody credit. Right. And then Shirley Jones actually gets a couple of songs on this album. So they're doing the Christmas song, which was Mel Torme and Robert Wells, classic song. And yeah, so, you know, one of the things that I guess I always go back and forth on, maybe when I was a kid I might not have appreciated, but as an adult and as an old adult that I am now, I would have appreciated having a Shirley Jones track every once in a while on a Partridge Family album. So she gets a couple here, or she shares vocals with David Cassidy on them. But the Christmas song, really lovely version. And she really.
And that's cut out of the episode, the TV episode.
Right.
You said that kind of made me realize that on a couple of these records, it's sort of like Shirley Jones is playing the George Harrison role in terms of he'll get her one or two vocals, and and oh, by the way, she's won Oscars and stuff like that. But hey, here's David again. So there's a thought. Could have given her a few more tracks, you know. Shirley Jones sings "All Things Must Pass." I listened to that. I would like to see Shirley Jones have taken a few more contemporary, make a contemporary album. Say, hey, see, I could have been in there. I could have done that, you know.
I always am a little curious as to why she didn't at that time. Was she just kind of done singing, or they just, weren't interested for the albums, or?
I think it was also the David phenomenon just hit so hard, and suddenly, I Think I Love You goes to #1, and that was a game changer for the next 5 years. If and remember, he didn't really originally sing the first 6 episodes. And the first album, it's pretty much half of the songs were recorded by the backing group of Tom Baylor, John Baylor, Jackie Ward, and Ron Hicklin. As we've got Ron Hicklin before.
Yeah.
And they were originally going to do all the recordings for the Partridge Family, and then they discovered that David Cassidy could sing. They realized that was much more marketable and so forth. And of course, it was the better thing to do. They having David record. So getting on to the Christmas album. I'm sorry, I lost my thought for just a second there.
We'll flip over now to side 2.
Yeah, flipping over. Yes, flipping over. I guess we can flip over to "Rocking Around the Christmas Tree," which is another one of I mean, Brenda Lee has the classic on that. In fact, she went #1 again in 2023. That's what I've been hearing.
Yeah.
#1 again.
Around. Yeah.
Amazing, right?
It's like, Brenda Lee's back on the charts. Beatles are back at #1. Stones are back at #1 on the album charts. What year are we in?
Yeah, I know. It's
But,
really incredible.
streaming is a crazy thing.
What's her name? Taylor.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did she get in there?
I mean, all the oldies are coming back, but Taylor gets all the attention.
Yeah, but even Cher has a Christmas single this year.
Yeah.
Right.
That seemed to get a lot of attention. So anyway, "Rocking Around the Christmas Tree." That's a fun one with Shirley and David. Any thoughts on that there, Cheri-lyn?
Yeah. I didn't hear the question. What was the
Any
question?
thoughts on their version of "Rocking Around the Christmas Tree," David and Shirley?
I like it. It's danceable. It's easy to dance to.
Yeah, it is. It's a good dance track. And then "Winter Wonderland" is really, I think "Winter Wonderland" is more the showcase of Shirley and David. I'm getting them confused a little bit. That is a classic.
Yeah. It
And
was really nice to hear them together. And I really do wish we'd had a little more of that even on the regular releases.
Yeah, I think so. I think I hear that one actually on some of the more retro type of shows. Cheryl was just playing the Lost 45's Christmas special. Who is the guy that's the DJ that does that again?
Barry Scott.
Barry Scott?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. I didn't hear any Partridge Family songs, but I'm sure they probably have a couple of them in there at some point, right?
Right. I came in kind of late to the show, and I was fooling around and getting online here.
Yeah. But they I think that's become a little bit more popular, and I think they both sang that one really, very well. But in general, we're going to be "Rocking Around the Christmas Tree." I think the Partridge Family version is very, very strong with that. So then we get to "Frosty the Snowman."
The lullaby.
Yeah. Oh man.
When I heard the first time I heard that, I could picture Tracy and Chris sitting on David's lap while he sings it to them.
Oh, that would have been sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's also an interesting direction away from the Jimmy Durante version, which is what most people have known and would have known even back then. And it's okay, let's take this a completely different way.
Absolutely. I like it. I like it more now than I did back then. I was like, yeah, I mean, we know that Frosty's gonna melt, and we know what's gonna happen, but it just made it so sad.
It's a tearjerker. It just is. Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Jen,
what is your favorite? Do you have a favorite Christmas special, or the classic Christmas special, is Daniel?
Oh, Charlie Brown.
Charlie
Brown. Frosty. Of course, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I mean, what was going on in 1965?
I couldn't watch that as a kid, and I can't watch it as an adult. It's just so sad.
There's some weird overtones to it, which that would be a whole Freudian episode, a future episode of this podcast.
Which one is that? Which one has all the Freudian references?
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
I like
okay, that's over my head.
I like Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol.
That's a fun one, right?
That's a fun one. And I will fully admit, I did not see that as a kid. that one, for some reason, that one, but when I started dating the woman that's now my wife, she would quote all these things like, where is this coming from? And I finally saw Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol, like, oh, this is what you've been talking about for years. It's like, and it's a fun episode. It is.
Yeah.
And the songs are really good. And it's, again, a showcase for Paul Frees, who was like on every Christmas special in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. I was a big Mr. Magoo fan when I was a little boy. And so I've always enjoyed that. And Santa Claus is coming to town, and the year that a Santa Claus, my two favorites of those Rankin Bass Christmas animated shows.
Yeah,
absolutely brilliant.
The one where my wife and I really diverge is the musical version of Scrooge with Albert Finney that ran on Channel 9 in Syracuse, New York, every Christmas. And so I can still quote that way too much. And my wife's just like, yeah, whatever. No, not going there.
But what's your favorite version of Scrooge, Daniel?
Ooh, I'd say the Alistair Sim version.
Okay.
That's really good. But Albert Finney's close behind. And I will recommend to the Muppet Christmas Carol. I mean, such
a good one.
And someone's one of the most faithful to the Dickens novel. So
Gail, which ones of Scrooge a Christmas Carol do you prefer?
You know what? I go for the lighter version, so it would be Mr. Magoo and the Muppets. Otherwise, it's a heavy story.
Yeah. And Cheryl?
A couple years ago, we did a Reader's Theater version of Christmas Carol, and I guess because I was the youngest one in the group, I was chosen to be Tiny Tim, and the little boy that's the turkey at the end.
Oh, that's cute. That's fun. I've always liked the George C. Scott version of Scrooge.
I was going to mention that too.
That's my favorite one. I enjoy that. And the Disney Christmas Carol is actually also very good. And this is one, I'm sure there's one with Mickey and Pluto and
yes, there is. Yes,
there is a version of that, but the Disney Christmas Carol is really just a classic story. And that was also, I don't remember who was the starring in that one, but that was also done very well. I'm not sure if I can't think of the name of the actor now. It'll come to me. Yeah, I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm blanking on the name of the lead actor that played the Ghost from Christmas Past or Present or whatever that.
I'll mention in the Albert Finney version, that role is played by Alec Guinness, who's just that's probably one of Alec Guinness's more played up roles. So it's worth it for that too.
Yeah, I'll look it up while we're talking and see if I can bring that back into the conversation. All right, so getting back to the Partridge Family and the last couple of tracks on the Christmas Card album, and again, I'm just going to reiterate that my Christmas card to you should have been a hit. I don't know, because I know that the radio stations were probably, inundated with releases left and right during this time period.
Yeah,
but I really think it was a classic song.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, Gail?
They didn't release a single from this album, though, did they?
I will have to check the records on that.
I'm not sure. I know the album sold really well.
Yeah,
but I don't.
And you have to wonder too if Cherish had been the most recent release, which is their version and David's version was very faithful, but that in some ways that could be with the harmonies, that could be kind of you would think, oh, that's a Christmas song, isn't it? So one has to wonder if they were too close together to really have a hit single on this record per se.
That's a
and two singles too close together, right?
Yeah.
I guess that might have been the thinking. I don't see that there was a Christmas. The Christmas Card to You was released as a single, and of course, back in those days, that's what was ruling everything. It's actually singles and double A's and things like that. So the Partridge Family did a version of Sleigh Ride, the classic Sleigh Ride by Leroy Anderson and Michael Parrish. And again, along with a lot of the other tracks on this album, it is standard. It's fantastic. I love this version of Sleigh Ride.
This is the record for me that I think they said this is the record we can sell the Partridge Family to kids and adults. Like that crossover into the old, like, hey,
Yeah.
this new young Partridge Family band, they're pretty good. I can listen to them. So I think there was definitely some thinking about that when they chose these songs.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's a good point. There's wide appeal here. Yeah.
And then Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. Now, was that the song that they sang on the Christmas episode, Cheryl, or is that that's the one that they sing at the end of the episode?
Yeah.
That's always cut out.
Yeah. So let
And
me
that's also
ask
done
you.
very well. Shirley Jones with the singing lead, and of course written by Hugh Marin and Ralph Blaine. And great song.
This album actually came with a Christmas card, correct?
It did indeed.
Ed, do you still have your Christmas card?
I have a version of the album somewhere with the Christmas card in it yet.
Okay. Cheryl, you do too?
Yeah, I had the one with the slits for the envelope, and then inside the envelope was the card.
Nice.
So I have it.
Yeah, that's a nifty bit of marketing.
Yeah,
absolutely. So I guess maybe we could turn our attention to the Christmas episode of the Partridge Family. Santa, bring your guns to town. Let's see if I can bring up a copy of the Christmas card here, so I can show everybody. This is all right, so I'm going to see if I can share my screen here with that there. Let's share my screen. Here we go. There it is. And if I just do this, you guys can see it better now. You can see it there. That looks really cool. And I gave you the envelope. It was nice.
Very nice.
2488. Condition used.
I think we got it back in $6.99 back when I was a kid. So,
yeah.
Kind of lucky. So the Partridge Family Christmas episode is called "Don't Bring Your Guns to Town, Santa," and and it's their second season of the series, and it finds the Partridge Family coming back from a gig. I guess they left their gig the next day, and they break down in a ghost town. And
as one does, yes.
As one does, they break down in the ghost town.
Yeah, particularly on the Columbia Ranch. Yeah.
I'm not quite sure why in particular they were taking that route, but perhaps maybe they were looking for a more scenic route.
Yeah. I drive from to Los Angeles to Las Vegas, and I have never seen a ghost town. Closest I've come is Peggy Sue's, which is right across the street from some sort of coal, diamond mine or something.
Okay.
Off the
so they break down in the ghost town, and for whatever reason, and they have no gas, they have nothing. They don't. And there's nothing around in this town that can help them other than the fact that they can either walk to the next town, which is quite a bit of ways, or they can try to fix the bus themselves. They meet up with the one occupant of the town, an old man, and who has a donkey, I believe.
Yeah.
And he offers to give the younger partridges and Shirley a shelter and hot cocoa. Because everything gets better when there's hot cocoa. And he tells he tries to get that troubles up their mind by telling them a lovely story about when the town was more of a bustling town and things were happening and how fun it was, and it's really probably one of the most creative episodes of the Partridge Family series. Cheryl, can you share your memories of the episode?
Well, I always thought that was interesting. Shirley always seemed to have best roles when she was in a Western movie, and this was just another one of her Western movies, and she looked perfect in those long dresses and the old costumes and everything. And David Bajkowski in the blue cowboy outfit.
Oh yeah, classic. Absolutely classic. So they get into this ghost town, and they are. He's telling the story about how they sell it, how they commemorate Christmas in the town. Is that in order to make sure that they felt that Santa was going to come into town, they built, or they made a beautiful silver bell that they would hang up, and they would ring that bell so that they know that Santa would come into the town and of course deliver Christmas presents and so forth, because that is the true meaning of Christmas, right? Okay. And anyway, that's what they did, and it's really very cute. They did a beautiful job with Shirley playing the part of Belle, a saloon keeper, where they serve iced tea and lemonade and things like that. And Lori plays the young school marm, teaching the kiddies. And apparently there's only 2 kids in the whole school, Chris and Tracy, versus her brother and sister. But whatever.
It was a very close-knit community of people.
Very close-knit community. Keith is the sheriff, all dressed in blue. Right?
Sheriff swell. Yeah.
He goes around town. He's also the chief journalist, because apparently that's what he does. He goes around town and he sings about what's going on.
What's happening immediately in front of him at that moment.
Absolutely adorable. Absolutely fantastic. I would have loved to have heard David talk about that particular episode. I'd love to get his input on what he thought of that. It's classic. I mean, it's wonderfully done. Very, very, very much fun to see.
What song was he? I'm trying to remember what Western was that song from?
Okay, that's something we could research. Right. We should try to research that. Because I'm sure probably from something along the lines of Three Musketeers or something like that. You think.
Well, the song that the title the episode comes from is "Don't Take Your Guns to Town," which is a Johnny Cash song from 1963.
Yeah, but I'm saying I guess I'll lick my lolly later. What's that tune? What was that tune?
Yeah, that's really familiar, and I can't place it either. Wasn't I was just gonna say the gentleman who plays Charlie, the lone resident of the abandoned town, Dean Jagger?
That was Dean Jagger.
I think he was in High Noon, if I'm not mistaken. Westerns are not my area of expertise, but yeah, he was. So I don't know. Is it related to High Noon?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
I'd have to look that up. I know that Dean Jagger had also been in White Christmas, as far as you're thinking about Christmas movies.
Right.
And he has an extensive background in film.
Western with Shirley too.
Cheyenne Social Club, right? She was in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was. But she was in that one too.
She was in another one, I thought.
Well, she's in quite a few of them, I think. Here we see
right, they played Two Rode Together, and she was in that one. It was on Inspiration TV. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Okay, so that's good to know. We'll have to look up her IMDb records in a minute.
Yeah, let's see what Wikipedia says.
But so the rest of the characters in this story, the Ghost Town story, is that the villain, of course, played by Dave Madden, Ruben Kincaid, dresses up as Mean Sydney, and he's going to steal the bell, and he's going to steal Christmas. And then Danny plays and he plays opposite his normal type, right? He plays against type, right? He plays the good kid. He's gonna play the uh, he's gonna wear the white hat for a change, and he's gonna try to win the belt back in a hard game of poker, and so that's quite a bit of fun. And there's a guy that works in the around town that keeps running into Keith, and Keith keeps singing to him and driving him nuts, and I'm not so sure if that was a little bit of issue there between the two of them, but
Yeah,
it
it
was
was
a lot of fun.
the Jess, that character, right? That the
Yeah.
tall guy?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the tall
who's,
guy with the brown hat.
Yeah, Britt Leach, who's if you're also a fan of the Brady Bunch, you'd remember him from a popular episode called Getting Davy Jones. He played Davy Jones'
Oh, did
manager.
he play the manager?
Yeah.
I can
As
see
I was
that now.
watching the
Yeah.
episode, I'm like, oh yeah, he looks really familiar. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's him.
I did like that. And this is Dean Jagger. Let me just bring this one up. Dean Jagger. There's Dean Jagger who
There he
played the
is.
old man.
Oh yeah, he was in a bunch of westerns.
Yeah.
Hold
Yeah,
on,
you
I
have to
got-
imagine they were having from between this and the setup and Shirley Jones, like, oh yeah, we're going western, a full-on western on this one.
Yeah.
So
Well, so I'm looking up Shirley's filmography, and I'm embarrassed to say we forgot about Oklahoma.
Yes,
That was a
yes,
big
of
one.
course.
oh, by the way, yes. You also forget how many amazing movies, Carousel that she
Right.
was in.
Right.
That was the connection. Yeah, yeah, that's the connection.
Yeah.
But I enjoy him in this, and let me see what else we have. We have anyway. So Danny manages to win the win the bell back, and then it turns out that the bell really wasn't the reason why Santa came to town. He came down because there was so much love and friendship and good Christian. I would say let's leave that out of it. But just the good Christmas feeling amongst the community that made it a warm place, and for love and for Santa Claus to come back and treat everybody to enjoy their Christmas with Christmas gifts and whatnot. And
The reindeer sounded like the Chipmunks. Alvin and
What's that?
Chipmunks. The reindeer sounded more like
didn't they? Yes,
Chipmunks.
absolutely. And who can forget the Chipmunks? I mean, you think about, what blows my mind about the Christmas, what I call Christmas hits of the 60s and 70s that we kind of grew up on, most of us. Daniel's very young.
Oh, I've got a few Chipmunk records around here. Who can forget Chipmunk Punk?
Chipmunk Punk, yes.
Yes, I have that record. Yes, it was actually released in 1980. With them doing Billy Joel and Blondie and a bunch of other songs. But
I can definitely see them doing Blondie and the Go-Go's and that kind of stuff. That would be, I can hear them doing We Got the Beat.
I will send it to you. Trust me. Oh yes.
But you think that those songs
Mhm.
have lasted 50 some odd years now. All that's Jose Feliciano's
Feliz Navidad. Yeah.
Feliz Navidad. All of these were recorded in the 60s.
Mhm.
And they floated into the mainstream of all the other great Christmas songs that have been recorded years ago, maybe by Louis Armstrong or Percy Faith, and trying to think of my God, I'm having a blank on, but it's just some of the classics.
Mhm.
Johnny Mathis recorded so many great ones.
Mm-hmm.
Sinatra had recorded great ones. Bing Crosby recorded great ones.
Right, Andy Williams, Perry Como.
Andy Williams, right? Perry Como, right? Perry Como.
Andy Williams did a Christmas special every year for years.
And Bing Crosby,
I
right?
still love Andy Williams' Christmas specials. I used to love Andy Williams, and he would play the dog. That he had a bear in his TV show, and every week the bear would come into his house or whatever, and he would do something, and it was silly, but it was fun. And but
after they used Andy and David Williams in one episode of the Partridge Family. I saw there's Andy Williams Christmas special, and there are these two little twin boys,
yeah,
and Andy and David before they grew up.
Sure. Well, you think about it, Andy Williams had 3 other brothers that were part of a singing group that he was part of.
He was one of four brothers singing group. Yes,
one of 4 brothers, and then Andy and David after that. I don't know whatever became of them after. I know they attempted a pop career. What happened with that?
Still around.
Yeah.
In the late 80s or 90s.
I think they did some reunions with and without Andy at different points. I know they're actually featured on some of the holiday specials.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that. There was a great PBS special on Andy Williams' Christmas shows sometime in the 90s, and it was really very well done. Probably the last thing he really did as far as what Christmas specials were concerned. And the Osmonds were in on that too. But the Osmonds were very much part of the Andy Williams family. And so you saw a lot of that stuff.
I forget, was it Andy who was married to Claudine Langer?
Yep.
Yeah, that was her. Okay. Who had her own brush with fame there for a while independently. Forget it was at the 70s or the 80s. Yeah, when she had
70s,
that scandal. Yeah.
You know, we have a lot of good memories, and it's just wonderful that this music has lasted all these years. And the Carpenters, Daniel, you were mentioning earlier, they made 2 Christmas albums, the Christmas Portrait, and then there's the second album that was an extended version, I think, of the Portrait album. And that's brilliant. I mean, I don't know about what everybody else's Christmas music is at the season, but that is like right on my list. I always play that every year. I love that, and I miss Karen Carpenter very much.
Definitely. I grew up in a lot of compilations. A lot of it was like various, everything from K-Tel to Columbia to everybody had a Christmas compilation. And
right on, yeah.
A lot of them ended up at my house, either through my parents or me. So it's amazing. You hear these things and you're back to that time of your life when you first heard it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You hear it again, and there it is. Yeah.
Well, they used to give those away. As I recall, we have a few like at gas stations and as premiums. And back in the early 70s, my mom was an Avon lady. And one of their Christmas gifts was album compilation, Christmas album, Christmas song compilations by the Longines Symphonette. So they still have a few of those in our collection. Yeah, they're fun. And again, it's beautiful music. So, and they hold up really well.
Yeah, I had a couple of the K-Tel ones that was very familiar. And then I made the mistake of joining record clubs in the later years. The Columbia House record club. Oh God, that never ended. It was like, oh my God.
And Rhino had a couple of Christmas compilations. I mean, everyone from I guess Bonanza to some, I can't remember. I think they included some of Ricky's Christmas album. I think Ricky had a Christmas. Yeah, Ricky Siegel.
Okay.
Ricky Siegel. Okay. Oh, wow.
And I'll mention too that Bobby Sherman did a Christmas record.
He's got a very good Christmas record. Yeah, he's got a very good Christmas record. Everything he did was great. I love Bobby Sherman.
Yeah, and it wasn't an album, but I'll mention the Monkees version of Rio Chio, which is that's
the Monkees. That's classic.
Didn't the Monkees do Rio Chio?
Yes, they did. Yep.
I want to say live to tape on set, if I'm not mistaken. They were able to do that a cappella. Yeah, it's wonderful.
It's stunning.
They
really
did
is.
That one take.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
And I bet you if you ask Mickey, I bet you he can still sing it to this day.
I'm sure he could. And I also liked Christmas Is My Time of Year. They did in, I guess, in the 70s or the 80s.
Oh, that's right. Yes. '70s
Yeah.
with Mickey, Davey, and Peter. Yeah, with
Yeah.
Chip Douglas.
Chip
Yeah.
Douglas,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I would love to get a copy of that. I missed that the first time around in the '70s, and if you look on eBay, that thing goes for over $200.
Mhm.
That's
Sometimes even without the picture sleeve, which is amazing.
I'll mention too, if you have a warped sense of humor, I'll reference in this compilation called "Bummed Out Christmas" that a bunch of us found. I think I bought it at a truck stop on cassette, and it's this compilation of all kind of weird, goofy, and often sometimes sad Christmas songs, like the Everly Brothers song about trying to get through the snow while you're getting over a hangover. It leads up with a song called "Santa Came Home Drunk Last Night," which was a R&B song from the '40s. Which is just a laundry list of everything that Santa had drank the night before. I can't say I don't want to go back. I want to go back to that time of my life, but it does bring back some fond memories. Yeah,
I'm looking for that one right now.
Santa went home drunk last night. Yeah,
yeah. Somebody stole by the Christmas Jug Band.
Yep.
Yeah.
And actually, it's the first time I heard the Sonics because their "Don't Believe in Christmas" is on side 2 of that. So years later, I was like, oh, it's like this. That's a really weird introduction to the Sonics in retrospect. But there you go.
Nice. I like that. A truck stop on cassette.
Yeah, we've had some adventures.
Definitely. Definitely. All right, so let's just see what we got here. Let's see if I just want to share this last picture here. Courtesy of Gail, by the way. Gail was very good to send me a bunch of pictures from the Partridge Family episode and things like that. So as they all did their version of Merry Little Christmas in there and all that was really very nice little scene.
Yeah.
You see them dressing the
Our
Christmas
family
tree at
was
home and all that.
traveling in a motel, and that Christmas episode was on. At the end of it, I said, now you can see why they're using other voices for the Partridge Family vocals. That's real Partridge Family singing there.
Yeah.
That's what makes that unique. And that's interesting too, because they're addressing the camera, which they don't typically do in an episode. They don't break the fourth wall, if I'm not mistaken. So that might be the only time they did
Not
that.
like the Monkeys. The Monkeys did it all the time.
They did it all the time, season 2,
This was kind of a fun little extra thing that we got on that episode.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's really cool. And it's really great to have all of you here tonight. I guess unless anybody wants to have an extra Christmas message to send out to everyone, I guess we'll just kind of say goodnight.
Well, wait,
Daniel, do you
one
want
more
to say?
thing. One more thing.
Sure, Gail.
Happy birthday, Susan Day.
Happy birthday, Susan Day. We forgot about Susan Day. How is that possible? It's December 10th, the Susan Day Day.
Yeah, Susan Day, 71, I think, this year, right? Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Happy birthday, Susan Day. We love you. And all right, so look, I wish everybody very, very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Enjoy the rest of the season. And it's really been a delight to have Cheri-lyn Corwin, Gail Bajkowski, and Daniel Coston as guests tonight. And thank you very much, and wish you guys all very, very happy and holiday. Be safe, have fun, and listen to the Partridge Family. Good night, everyone.
That's right.
Okay.
Have Merry Christmas. Embrace the partridge.
Yes. Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays.
Never heard of a Charlie in the box.
And let me close this out. Stop recording. There we go.